John Hastings produced one of the best ever T20 innings, scoring 80 off 26 balls as the Durham Jets came from nowhere to defeat the Northamptonshire Steelbacks by 5 wickets with 5 balls to spare at the Emirates Durham International Cricket Ground as both sides said goodbye to this season's NatWest T20 Blast tournament. Kyle Kurtzer won the toss for the visitors and decided to have a bat in a game which meant nothing as far as qualifying for the quarter-finals was concerned, and after a couple of slow overs, David Willey pounced into action by hitting Hastings over the top in the 3rd over. Richard Levy also cleared the rope in the next over as he went after Graham Onions, beautifully timing this pick-up shot as the Steelbacks looked to make a good start as they bowed out of the competition they won last year. Their 2 openers took 57 runs off the power play on a lovely night in the northeast, one that was ideal for batting in. Willey was beginning to dominate the scoring, especially in terms of boundaries. With the fielders able to spread out, Mark Stoneman brought on Gareth Breeze, but when he dropped in a fraction short, Levy was quickly into position to help the ball over the boundary. A further 6 came in the next over, the 9th, Willey with a big sweep off Scott Borthwick as these two took their partnership to 83, made it 10 runs per over. It was an almost perfect start. The Jets badly needed a wicket, and just after that maximum, they got one as Willey on 43 made off 29 balls, failed to get enough on this shot and found Keaton Jennings at deep mid-wicket. Levy brought up his side's 100 in the 12th over with another maximum off Breeze, but then he also holed out off Onions. A flick off the legs finding Callum McLeod on the boundary's edge. Levy departed for 41 with a total on 108 for 2 in over number 13. The Jets were pulling themselves back into this contest, even more so when Kurtzer chipped this ball from Borthwick to Jennings. The Steelback skipper had made 15 as his side entered the last 5 overs on 128 for 3. There was plenty of good running between the wickets by Adam Rossington and Stephen Crook, with the occasional 4 thrown in, while the former also cleared the rope with an extraordinary shot over extra cover off Hastings to end the 18th over with a total reading 163 for 3. The last ball of the Northants innings was also hit over the top by Rossington as Hastings' 4 overs cost 50. Rossington ended on 52 from only 27 balls, while Crook made 20 off 16 as the Steelbacks ended on a very challenging 195 for 3 from their 20 overs. It looked to be beyond Durham when Phil Mustard edged Ollie Stone behind to go for a duck to the 10th ball of the reply. And it was 6 for 2 in the 3rd over when Borthwick, up at the top of the order, mistimed this shot off Willey, clubbing the ball to Kurtzer, who held on to a simple catch at wide mid-on. The Jets were already right up against it. McLeod and Stoneman did at least manage to carry the total to 41 for 2 by the end of the 6 overs of power play, but the Jets skipper then found Ben Duckett at deep mid-wicket off Crook to go for 13 and leave with his side in some trouble. The hole they dug themselves was deeper still when, at the start of the 10th over, Michael Richardson tried to go over the top off Matt Spreagle but found Willey in from the long-on boundary to take the catch. At the halfway stage of the reply, the Jets were on 69 for 4. And in the next over, they also lost Gordon Mutchell as Crook showed what a good athlete he is by plucking the ball out of the sky to complete a caught and bowled, which looked as if it had finished the game off with a comfortable Steelbacks win. Indeed, with 9 overs left, Durham needed 122 to win with only 5 wickets in hand, and the decision for most of the fielding side to wear shirts with the wrong name on them seemed to have been a fun decision which was paying dividends. McLeod decided to have some fun too. 20 runs came off that Spreagle over, with Hastings hitting his 4th ball for a 6. His 9th brought him his 2nd maximum, the all-rounder showing off the power of his forearms by pulling this delivery from Maurice Chambers into the distance. Having made 25 of his first 10 deliveries, Hastings then really went crazy. It no longer mattered where any of the Northants bowlers put the ball. Hastings would just use his immense strength to power the ball for 6. In spite of the wonderful hitting, 55 runs were still needed off the last 4 overs, and a Steelbacks victory still appeared to be the most likely option. But with McLeod reaching a 50 off 34 balls and Hastings moving into overdrive, one of the best ever run chases was just about possible. Kurtz's decision to give himself a bowl didn't work out. Only 2 runs came off his first 3 balls, yet his over still cost 16 runs, as Hastings showed him no mercy. It may not have been the biggest crowd of the season at this ground, but those that decided to show up were now being treated to something rather remarkable. They started to believe that a lost cause could be turned into a winning position, almost like water was turned into wine, as Hastings raced to his half-century off 19 balls, an innings with no 4s but 5 6s. It was the fastest ever 50 for Durham. Now 39 were wanted off 3 overs, the kind of thing that has been done a few times before, although in such a situation it's more often than not the fielding side that comes out victorious. Hastings now had only one thing on his mind, and that was to smash the ball as far as he possibly could. This was fast becoming one of the great T20 innings by now, as Hastings moved on to 68 from 23 balls, bringing up the 100 partnership with McLeod in just 41 deliveries. The target had, in a flash, been brought down to a rather more reasonable 20 off 2 overs, and McLeod decided that he would follow his partner's example. The Scot batted brilliantly throughout, yet was totally overshadowed by Hastings, who had a night he will surely never forget. The noise at the ground had lifted with every shot, and as Hastings blasted his 8th maximum in the space of just 21 balls, it was becoming even louder. Those who were lucky enough to be there probably couldn't believe what they were witnessing. If anything, the Jets had put themselves into a winning position rather easily, the game being turned on its head in 30 incredible minutes. When Hastings top-edged Crook for 4, he'd left just 1 run for his team to get off the last over. McLeod then drilled Stone through square cover for 4, and the Jets had done it with time to spare. McLeod's 64 off 42 balls would have made headlines on any other day, but Hastings' awesome and almost unbelievable 80 from 26 balls will live long in the memory. He'd only been at the crease for 33 minutes. It was also the best score of his T20 career. So it was some finish to the Blast season for the Jets, who took the game by 5 wickets with 5 balls to spare, and it meant that these 2 sides ended the competition alongside each other in the North Group, the Jets with 12 points to the Steelbacks 11. Let's hope that the new 50-over tournament that now takes over produces something as amazing as this night.